Welcome to another episode of the Lovers and Things podcast.
Where your favorite couple's favorite couple
Talks about the things they love. I'm Lex.
And I'm Greg.
And welcome to another episode, guys.
A New Year's episode.
A New Year's episode. We made it.
We made it.
We made it to 2024.
Yeah, do you feel like recharged? We took a bit of a break.
We took a bit of a break. I'm glad we took a bit of a break.
We needed it.
We needed a bit of a break. I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel particularly recharged because I feel like the new year was a little hectic for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, all's well that ends well. What can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I feel recharged. We had a pretty chill holiday.
Mm-hmm. We did.
So that was good. That was very welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I feel like I'm in a steady state. Like
Yeah.
I'm in a good spot, you know.
That's good.
You know, I'm just coasting right now. You know?
You're just coasting. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like the holiday, like I said, was very chill. That was very intentional for us.
Yeah.
We literally did nothing. There were days where we did absolutely nothing, and I loved it.
Uh-huh.
But recharge, that's interesting. I don't know if that's the vibe, but I feel like I'm ready for the new year.
Yeah.
That's the best that I can give.
What is recharged? Meaning like you're ready to take on
You know
chaos?
what?
Like is
That's
that
a
what
good
that means?
question. That's a good question.
Like you're rested and you're ready to take on chaos?
Yeah,
Is that what
maybe
recharging
you
means?
feel proactive. I feel like recharge is like
Pro
you feel proactive and like ready to go.
Oh, proactive. I've left that behind in my 20s. I'm not
We're not proactive in our 30s.
you know, I'm casual, like I'll take care of things, but I'm not gonna eagerly take on more.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. Proactive as in like, you know, you're ahead of the change. Like you're
Ahead of
making
the
stuff
change.
happen.
Okay.
You feel like you're ready to step change and make, you know, stuff
Make
shake.
stuff pop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean I guess that's a constant state
It's a
that I'm
constant
in.
state.
Am I just poo-pooing on like the New Year's spirit?
You are.
Am
We are
I
a little bit, to be honest. Like
you know, are we becoming more and more begrudgingly like one of those sinister people or is
maybe.
just that's the lull we're in right now?
I think it's a lull. But it'll get better. It's only the first couple of days into the new year, and honestly, I have the best hopes for 2024. The
So do I.
vibes are okay.
The way it's starting,
My God.
the way it's starting, I am excited as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It can only go up from here.
Yeah, I mean the start. You saw the alien in Miami. Did you see that?
You told me about the alien Miami.
Okay.
I haven't, and I was Googling around trying to find said alien. Ain't no photos of said alien. So can we take the people through what exactly you're talking about?
Okay. So there was this video that went viral of this insane police
Mm-hmm.
response
Mm-hmm.
at this Miami mall.
Yeah.
I guess there were teenagers fighting, but this response, it was probably over 100 police cars.
Yeah, I did see video of that, and it was no less than 40, 50 squad
It was
cars.
insane. The entire block
Mm-hmm.
was lined with police cars, all their sirens on. This is a huge response
Yeah.
for some kids fighting.
Yeah, teenagers fighting in the mall. That happens every day.
Yeah, so I'm skeptical. So then and then
Mm.
someone was watching a video. So someone took a like from
The aerial.
their apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and they were looking down at the response,
Yeah.
and they apparently saw like a 8 to 10 foot alien in the pixelated low quality video.
It's always pixelated and low quality
It's
when it
always
comes to
pixelated
something
low
you need
quality.
evidence for.
Yeah,
It's always
a strange
pixelated.
phenomenon. Pixelated.
Like,
At
why is it
4K,
never
everything else, but
just...
that's when it falls apart.
Yeah, like your iPhone is clear every other day.
So I was like, you know what? This is such Florida behavior. This is on brand
That is on brand
for our
Florida.
state. And I was like, is that a real thing? I have a feeling it could be an alien, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Mm,
Do you think it was actually an alien? And also, have you
yeah.
ever seen an alien? Like, do you believe in
Oh,
aliens?
wow. I do believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in...
Okay.
Don't roll your eyes at
That's
me,
such a
sir.
political answer.
I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe there's life on other planets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I believe there's some oogie boogie wide-eyed alien that we've seen in the movies coming down? I don't know if that's what I believe.
Uh-huh.
So to
You don't know
answer
if
your
they come in
question,
here.
yeah, I don't know if they come in here.
Okay.
Earth is ghetto. Go to Mars, baby. Go to
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah.
But I've never experienced anything alienish. I've
You
never
haven't seen
been, I
anything
haven't
shoot
been
across the
sucked up
sky.
into a spaceship.
Uh,
I haven't seen
no
anything.
abductions.
Yeah, but I mean, if people say they saw an alien, they saw an alien. But I just know Florida is known for the shenanigans,
Uh-huh.
so I don't know if I can co-sign.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I looked at it. I zoomed in. I was, pinching to zoom on my phone, and I didn't see the shadows. They
Yeah,
said that
like
you could see
what?
shadows in the background. I couldn't see it.
And I'm like, it's New Year's. Y'all drunk? Y'all
Maybe,
recreational drugging over
maybe
there,
that's what it
and
is.
that's what y'all.
Had a few too many,
Yeah, because I'm
if you
like
will, and they
eight
and
8 foot aliens.
yeah. But I don't know. I believe in aliens too.
Yeah,
But I don't believe aliens are like what Hollywood and media has portrayed them to be with
yeah.
the oval heads, the big eyes,
Mhm.
the or like in other movies where they're like huge creatures that are
Mm.
stumbling around. I don't believe it. I don't believe they're like that. I don't believe they're traveling to us.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't think they're doing that.
Yeah.
And if we were to see an alien, I don't think it's gonna be in the normal like state that we expect.
Yeah.
I think it might be like a gas cloud is an
Mhm.
alien, or it might be um like amoeba, if you will,
Not an amoeba.
like a mass that just like
A little
yeah,
thing.
little mass. I believe that,
Very jellyfish-like,
but
perhaps.
that's one of my perspectives on aliens, but I also believe in the other perspective on aliens
Okay.
that like the Prometheus film proposed with the engineers they call them,
Okay.
the like humanoid, human-like
Okay.
creatures.
Mhm.
Well, not creatures. I guess they are creatures
Yeah, it's kind of like a
that like
creature.
basically created humanity.
Right.
So they look like us,
Mhm.
and they came down and they created us in their likeness.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was very a lot of
mm.
parallels with
I
Christianity.
don't know how I feel about
Um,
that.
but yeah, that's I can believe that too, because
Yeah.
we're so different than a lot of the other species on
Mhm.
this planet.
Yeah,
And I
by
think
way
that's for a
of,
reason.
evolution.
I think there's some alien roots in us to make us
Oh.
be so different than
Wow.
every other species.
Oh my gosh. I bet
You
you guys
think?
didn't know you were listening to a conspiracy theory podcast today.
That's yeah, y'all. That's what y'all getting today.
Y'all were unaware.
Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. I don't disagree. I
You
don't
don't
disagree.
disagree?
You know
Okay.
what? I feel like we know so little about our own planet and our own Earth that there is no telling what's going on out there
hmm
in the ether. So
Yeah.
anything's possible.
But I think that's pretty likely.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are aliens essentially,
We are
and
the
or we're
aliens.
like the descendants of aliens that came to Earth
Mm.
to continue their
Yeah.
species
Oof.
by way of the Prometheus film
Well, good
and
luck.
the Alien franchise.
Good luck convincing your pastor of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my hot take for today.
Interesting, interesting. And by the way, fair warning, guys, I have a little bit of a cold. So if you hear any sort of like sniffles and stuff like that, I apologize in advance. It's like a thing. Apparently, it's going around though. A lot of
Oh,
people are under the weather.
okay.
A lot of
Hopefully,
my friends mentioned it.
your friends have gotten sick too.
Yeah, this week in particular.
Oh, jeez, that
Mm-hmm.
is not fun.
I know. Starting off the new year strong.
hmm
But yeah, that reminds me, like, when we're thinking about like this idea of like aliens and things like that, and like the world changing and who knows what's going to happen.
Uh huh.
Do you remember over the holiday we watched that one movie
Mm.
that was really good?
Yeah, leave the world behind.
Leave the World
Yeah.
Behind. And while it's not like an alien movie per se,
hmm
it's very much end of the world sci-fi-ish, and it
Yeah.
kind of like gives the same vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I think a lot it's a very controversial film in the sense that
Mm,
the ending is kind of open-ended.
yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like that.
People don't
A
like
lot of people
open-ended
didn't like
endings
that.
at all, though. Like for any sort of movie where you have to make your own conclusion about did they live? Are they okay? What happened to
Yeah.
the world? People don't like that.
People don't like that.
It's the uncertainty. I think that's part of being human, though, is that you need to know there was a resolve.
Right.
What
Or like
happened?
I'm here to watch a movie. You need to tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't I beg to differ. I
Mm.
like that. I
You
think
like the fact
that's
there's
like a
open?
great storytelling tactic of
Mm-hmm.
kind of like letting people formulate their own. I think that's what creates conversation
Yeah.
is by allowing the audience to form their own conclusions.
That's fair.
I love that tactic, and that didn't even come to mind as like a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It came to mind to me as like, wow, this is a great like cliffhanger.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for us to talk,
Yeah.
or potentially a sequel
Mm.
if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I welcome that. I welcome cliffhanger endings.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Largely because I don't like people telling me what is and what isn't. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like a meme
It's kind
thing.
of, and also
It's
it's like
like,
a little
yeah.
convenient
Yeah, it's
to
like,
just wrap it up for us.
it would be nice if everyone lived and everyone was happy, or it would be nice to know that that was just the end of the world and that was that. But it's also nice to be able to be able to say, this could have happened, this could not have happened. You have all
Hmm.
the context clues to kind of give you one sort of direction.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought that it was well put together. It's on Netflix, guys. It features Mahershala Ali, Julia Roberts. Oh, what's the guy's
Ethan
name?
Hawke,
Ethan Hawke,
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon.
Do you believe in the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? I think what it's called.
That was a thing
Do you
that was
believe in
floating
that?
around in the 90s. I don't know that many actors of that era to be able to tell you whether or not that's a
Uh,
thing. But sure.
well, it's like the idea that you're 6 people away from Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Everyone's 6 people away.
I'm not 6 people away from Kevin Bacon.
You know some pretty prominent people in celebrities and whatnot. There's
Suppose so.
you could
Finagle my way
probably
to
you
Kevin
could probably make
Bacon.
some connections. 6 people is a lot of people. Hoops.
I guess that is true. 6 people away. Oh, then maybe I am 6 degrees away from
You
Kevin
know,
Bacon.
we got access. Don't doubt your network.
Fine, my
If you
network.
needed to
Six
get to Kevin
degrees.
Bacon, you can.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe you
I could
can.
make a call. I could make a call.
Apparently, you have to make 6.
6 calls.
Yeah. But yeah, that movie was the performances were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I thought Mahershala killed it.
Mahershala is Mahershala. Mahershala is always going to give what needs to be gave. But I
Just,
will say
mhm,
that one of the most interesting pieces of that film for me, outside of the amazing portrayals and acting, was this unspoken racial tension
mhm.
between the family who was renting the home, Julia Roberts and her husband, and Mahershala Ali and his daughter. I wish
Yeah,
I knew the actress name. I'd never seen her before. The owners of the home.
right.
Like that strange sort of racial tension and almost uh I don't want to call it submission, but really like sort of uh stepping back, if you will, in order to avoid what could potentially be a blow up.
Okay.
Like in those scenes where Mahershala and his daughter came back to the home and the Airbnb tenants were there,
Hmm.
there was like this weird tension of like, are you sure this is your home? Are you
Yeah.
sure you live here? And for the next 2 days or so, like Mahershala and his daughter were sleeping in the basement of their own home.
Hmm.
They were tiptoeing around that house, not trying to make those people uncomfortable
Yeah.
in their own house.
And I remember in some parts of the film, I was like, wait a minute, are they like not really who they say they are?
Yeah. And I'm like, are
Because some
they?
of the behavior kind of came off like a little too tiptoey.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of threaded the line a little close, but they didn't go all the way
Yeah.
to kind of create that doubt in us in
Mm-hmm.
the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do agree. There was times where I was like, especially when deeper into the story,
Spoiler alert.
things, everything hits the fan, it goes
Yeah.
down. They're technically, I think at this time, their booking has ended.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tracking the booking time.
The
Like, how
booking
many
is
days did they
ended.
book this? This is about 4 or 5
It was
days
supposed
now.
to be a weekend.
Right.
Saturday, Sunday.
And I think they even left.
They did. They left.
And then they come
And they
back.
come back. And he
And he
lets them
still
back
lives
in
in the
the
basement. And
house.
well, not even that, but they go back to the
And
basement.
they go back to that's the
I wouldn't
thing.
have. I'd be like, all right, now it's unless it's a house that they don't live in, they never lived in, and it's
Mm.
just an Airbnb. So the primary bedrooms do not even feel comfortable to them. Maybe
I don't think that was the case though. I feel like that's a bit of
you
a
think they like
stretch.
would live there too.
I think that he mentioned the fact that it took them a couple of years to renovate that home, that this was like their secondary home. They had one in the city.
Okay.
So obviously they
Okay.
go there.
Okay.
They had
So
clothes there, like it's a thing.
yeah. Okay. And he had like a liquor cabinet and
Mhm.
stuff, save their cash and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but he
So
was playing secondary in his own
it was a little
home.
much.
It was a
A
little
little
much.
much.
And I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either. Mm.
Stand up, Mahershala, stand up.
Yeah. And I think it also I mean Julia Roberts was classic
She gave Karen heavy.
yeah, she was classic Karen.
Yeah.
problematic,
Very.
which was refreshing to see like someone who had like very popular that way play someone that's not. I feel like Julia Roberts' roles in the past were a little stereotypical.
Yeah, she's very
Uh,
much a Hollywood darling in that way.
yeah, so it's good to see her play not necessarily the protagonist
Mhm.
in a sense.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good. All of the acting was really good. So if you guys haven't seen it, recommend you see it. It's also somehow or another tied to the Obamas. I guess they executive producers? Do they fund
yeah,
it? I don't
and they were
know.
like they were consulted for information. Barack Obama was consulted
There
for
you go.
information.
There you go. They're
Yeah,
involved somehow, if that matters to
yeah.
you.
But what's your take on the outcome?
The
Spoiler alert. I
outcome.
mean, we're gonna let's
Yeah,
just
we're
get
digging. We're digging. The
what's your take?
outcome. I thought the outcome was cute.
What do you think happened?
I think what happens is the mother finds the daughter who is in the bunker.
Mm-hmm.
That family's gone. The family in that home where the bunker is gone.
Yeah,
Right? They're
yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
Finds her, brings the family back, and they all live out in the bunker. Now, the issue is she going to bring Mahershala and his daughter with them? But I think she has to because she found the bunker with
The
Mahershala's
daughter.
daughter.
So the daughter would know and
Mm-hmm.
would mention that that's a thing.
Yep.
And I think a little deeper than that, a little bit further. Like,
Okay.
what do you think? So
Happens to the
basically,
world?
this movie is it's a collapse of civilization as we know it,
Mm-hmm.
and things are falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Everything digital is hacked
Yeah.
and corrupted, and
Yeah.
there's this famous scene with the Teslas that they take control of the Teslas and crash them into each other, and you were like,
Yeah.
"I am done. We're
Yeah.
not getting
We're
a
not getting
Tesla."
a Tesla. Like
Yeah.
that's too close to home.
So and then basically now they've had to fend for themselves. It appears to be an attempted terrorist attack to destabilize America
Yes.
and basically cause people to kind of go against each other
Mm-hmm. To
and
turn on
clash and
themselves.
create a civil war.
Yeah.
So in the movie, you see like the slow erosion, a little signs of erosion, in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
um, Mahershala and Ethan Hawke go get medicine
Yep.
from a resourceful member of the community that Mahershala knows,
Yep.
and then it
It's
gets into
Kevin
like,
Bacon.
oh yeah, Kevin Bacon, and then it gets into like they're about to fight. They pull out guns on each other. They're about to
Mm-hmm.
shoot at each other,
Yep.
and which is like a sign of the tension.
Yep.
But eventually, he gives him the medication. He gives up the medication after they talk,
Mm-hmm.
and but the tension was pretty. I didn't think it was leaving with medication.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was surprised it even got to that point. I'm like, somebody gonna get shot.
Yeah,
I was fully expecting for someone to be shot.
right. And then there's another signs like you see the families, the two families that came together in the
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb, starting to get a lot of friction and fighting, and
Mm-hmm.
even there's a scene where Ethan Hawke is driving down a road, and
Yep.
a woman, a Spanish-speaking woman, stops him,
How
and
sad was
she's
that
like,
scene,
"I was
by the
so sad," because
way?
she was like in the middle of nowhere.
Panicking.
Yeah.
Panicking and couldn't speak any English. Ethan Hawke didn't speak any Spanish. And so it was just this moment of like pure humanity where he's like he wants to help this woman, but has no idea what comes with that, what sort of responsibility or repercussion comes with helping her. So
Hmm.
he leaves her stranded in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
screaming
He
and
just
yelling for
drives
help.
off,
Just
which is like,
drives off.
oof, that's rough.
That was tough to
Right.
watch.
So like things are getting tense,
Yeah.
and it's been like a week of this terroristic attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the major takeaway from this, the big takeaway from this that is that you're starting to see the origins of what's going to be the collapse of America.
That's right.
Um, but in my opinion, I don't think America collapses at the outcome of this.
Oh.
I think there was enough signs in the film
Okay.
to show faith in humanity,
Mm.
where over time Julie Roberts becomes less caring and starts to work with the family.
Slightly.
The Kevin Bacon giving up the
Yeah.
medication. I think humanity. I think we come together and we ultimately stay united
Mm-hmm.
and fight whatever forces that were doing the cyber attacks to us. That's
Oh.
my takeaway from it. And because of and also at the end of the movie,
Okay.
the daughter wants to watch the last episode of
Of
Friends.
Friends.
And in the movie ends with the song "I'll Be There for You,"
Yeah. Yeah.
which is the intro song,
Right.
the theme song for the movie.
Mhm.
So I think that's further evidence that we'll be there for each other. And I think the movie does a strong lean towards saying things are going to be all right. We're gonna band together
Yeah.
as a country,
Mhm.
in spite of our differences, in spite of
Yes.
how toxic and messy we can be as a
Yeah.
society.
Mhm.
We'll come together and support each other.
I love
That's my
that.
takeaway from it.
What an eternal optimist you are. I love that about you.
But I think the movie is saying that. I think this-
Perception is
yeah,
everything.
but yeah, definitely and I think that's what the movie does is like
Yeah.
it's showing a little bit about yourself too, and
Mhm.
what you think the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So
Love
that's
that.
leave. What is it? Leave
Leave the world
behind.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Let us know if your take. Do you think the world falls apart, and like they say, or
Does
at
the
least
world fall
America
apart?
falls
Does
apart,
America fall apart?
or
Because
do you
man.
guys are in line with my theory,
Mhm.
which we all band together?
Mhm. I mean, certainly you would like to hope that America bands together
Mhm.
and finally gets over the mess and just, makes it happen for each other.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would be the positive outcome.
Did you have a strong view on the final outcome on it,
No.
or do you think it would continue as suggested, the Civil War?
Listen, I was thinking it was going to turn into The Walking Dead. I
Mhm.
mean, the minute I saw a bunker and food, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna be hanging out there, and the world's gonna be in chaos above them, but they'll be straight." Like, like in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like,
They'll
"Oh
just
yeah,
live in there and they'll
they'll just
figure
live
it
the
out.
bunker, they're fine." Like,
Everything
so
will fall apart. Yeah.
yeah, so I really didn't have any thoughts about it being, resolved in a positive way. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, it's happening," but at least the people that we know are okay. Like, very surface level, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't dig that deep into it, but I think what you
Mm.
said is an interesting perspective.
But that bunker was looking nice.
The bunker was
I was getting some
nice.
ideas.
Like it literally looks so good. They had a what is it, like a hydro vegetable
Yeah.
situation. They had all the rice and beans, honey.
Rice and beans.
They had literally all the DVDs of all the greatest movies and
Yeah.
shows ever. Like they had it together down there.
Mhm.
So I'm like, if it had to go down, sign me up for the bunker.
Yo.
Sign me up for the bunker.
We have to bunkerize our
I
lives.
know. Can we bunkerize the basement?
I'm already on it. I'm starting off of on our films
Okay.
because
Okay.
I have a very checkered past with
Oh.
piracy.
Checkered past.
Yes,
you
I
say?
was deep in the torrents, if you will.
Pirate Bay. Who
Pirate
who,
Bay.
who remembers Pirate Bay?
Y'all was in them.
Y'all know Pirate Bay.
Some of y'all had them fire sticks. Questionable. Amazon did not sell those fire sticks. I know
I'm
a few of
dead.
y'all listening. I know y'all
Yeah.
had some sites where you go watch the movies and film.
Yeah.
I've got a little thumb drive. I'm just saying, of a few classics.
Ooh, I was
That's all I'm
recently
saying.
clearing out my old laptop, and I found the whole first season of True Blood on there. The entire first season just sitting on my laptop that I
Yeah.
hadn't opened in years, mind you.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
Wow, what a
we'll be watching
time.
True Blood
What a time.
and 300.
And 300 was another one.
Yeah.
Wow, man, you had to be there.
You had to be
You
there,
had to
yo.
be there.
You had to be there.
Oh, I love that.
But we gotta get into this Katt Williams thing.
Transition into Katt Williams, and there ain't no smooth way to transition into Katt Williams.
He
You
wasn't
just gotta-
smooth transitioning into his interview.
You just gotta do it. Okay, so if you've been living under a rock, you may not be aware of the fact that Katt Williams was recently interviewed on Shannon Sharpe's. It's a podcast, but also like there's a visual to it. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, interview show.
Club Shay Shay is the name of it, which I did not know.
It's on brand.
I did not know it was called Club Shay Shay. I'm just like, what's going on? But Club Shay Shay, it's an hour and a half interview.
No, this is 3 hours, almost 3 hours.
No, it isn't. It's like an hour and a half.
The Katt Williams interview is 2 hours and like 46 minutes.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
That's how good it is.
I'm confirming.
This interview is so good
What?
and so gripping.
That's
Is
wild.
that you don't even realize you just spent 3
I
hours.
thought it was an hour and a half.
It is 2 hours.
Maybe I had
40
an hour
minutes.
and a half left when I checked the time.
You had an hour and a half left, likely.
Oh, 2 hours and 46 minutes.
I saw every second of it.
And so did I. Okay, so when I checked the time, I was probably halfway through. That's what
Wow,
happened.
yeah.
But can I just say the title of this video is Katt Williams Unleashed, And that's exactly what it was.
It's pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate.
Yep.
So yeah, in this interview, Katt Williams immediately goes into defending his character, defending his craft as a comedian. Like out the gate, he's like, I had to come here because you had other people on here who were, you know,
the other
smudging
kings
my
of
name.
comedy. Kings of comedy.
The other kings of comedy were coming for him. And so he said he had to come and set the record straight.
And
did he ever?
And he was very adamant on the fact that he was fueled by truth.
Wow, what a word.
He was fueled by truth.
He was fueled by
Because there was a
truth.
moment when, you know, because on Club Shay Shay, everyone has a drink. They have a toast. And I mean, it's not drink champs drinking where, you know, they're just, you know, have a funnel down your throat.
Those men are alcoholics.
Which is a great podcast. But yeah, they be drinking on Drink Champs.
That's rough.
But Club Shay Shay does have a little bit of cognac on
Classy
the
cognac,
side.
the expensive kind.
I don't know if I forgot what it's called. Lortie. I can't remember the name of it.
Something expensive.
La Retoir or something like that. And you know, he's like, at one point, Shannon Sharpe, cracks me up the entire interview, but he goes, how much you drinking? How much you drinking? His classic voice, and Katt Williams like, I'm not the one that's been drinking a lot. Like, I'm fueled by truth. Like, this is all coming from honesty.
Yeah.
Because he was saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, and wild in things that, like, honestly, I think a lot of what he said are things that have been murmurs in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Some of the things he said I wasn't surprised about because I'd heard murmurs of, but it's the fact that he said it so direct. And he said it with his chest.
And eloquently.
And
hilarious at the same time.
Katt Williams is so freaking funny. And I knew he was funny. Everyone knows Katt Williams is funny. But that man is
insane. Like, that
next level. Next level.
And also, all while being very prophetic.
Yeah.
And he had some bars under that. I'm about to be my Instagram caption.
Listen.
Like, you know, some really nice gems that he put in there about, you know, from his lived experiences and things like that were very like, wow. Yeah. He's spitting. He up there spitting.
Yeah, there were some moments in there where I'm like,
yeah. When he said about when he was over Shannon Sharpe, not really defending other people, but more so like the fact that he's very cool and comfortable with a lot of people. It's like he was like, you something with losers is not.
Oh yeah,
it's not like
I
you.
think Shannon Sharpe was trying to be Switzerland and all this, right?
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of claims that were coming out during this this interview that he obviously cannot, you know, he cannot verify anything. He cannot, you know, so he's just like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think he was either talking about Faison Love or somebody, and Shannon was like, come on, man, you know,
because he was saying some wild stuff. Katt Williams was saying some wild stuff.
Like, everyone was catching strays.
Yeah.
So what he says is, he's like, you have an unnatural, what did he
allegiance?
Say? An unnatural allegiance to losers.
Loyalty or something like that.
And it's not like you.
Oh my goodness. That took me out.
I rolled.
I was like, oh.
Katt, why are you saying these things? Like, every time he would say something, I'd be like, oh my God, this man must be stopped.
It must be stopped.
He must be stopped.
And there was a part where he was just going in on Cedric the Entertainer.
Ooh.
I don't know what Cedric the Entertainer said or did to spark this much rage, but it was a point where he stood up and he was like, he said, first of all, he likened Cedric the Entertainer to a walrus.
A walrus. Oh my
I was dead at that point.
I could not take it when he said he was sitting up on your couch
like a walrus with his hands on his arms on his belly, which took me out. I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And then he proceeds to demonstrate
how
he will punch him on his patch.
This patch, meaning the belly.
This patch.
This patch.
He said a patch.
He didn't say belly. He didn't say stomach.
And I was
this patch right
I
here.
had enough at that point. And this was only probably 45 minutes in.
The man is hilarious.
It was too much. But the most notable thing about all this for me was Shannon Sharpe. And this whirlwind of just controversy of people being read out their name statements. Shannon Sharpe is just like, he's not necessarily like, he's not interrupting.
Yeah.
But his reactions were killing me.
Yeah.
Like him falling out. what? Come on now, Cat. What'd you say? It's just like losing his mind
Yeah.
over this, and but also like asking really good follow up questions that would just spark a new like propel the conversation forward.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, he would in the moments of all that chaos, he would
Mhm.
still drop in a pointed question about
Yeah.
something specific, like how what was your childhood like? You
Mhm.
know, what was your experience? This, where's that? Well, you know, and it was really interesting to watch because you could not get that much content
Uh-huh.
out of this this conversation with
Yeah.
Katt Williams, if it wasn't for Shannon Sharpe's conversational skills
I
and
agree.
very good questions.
I agree, and I think there was some feedback across the internet of how there were some moments where Shannon Sharp could have gone deeper and so on and so forth. And I agree, but like, Shannon Sharp isn't an Oprah. He's not he's not an
Like Gail
investigative
King, yeah,
journalist.
yeah.
He's a man who's a conversationalist, has great relationships in the industry, and I think this platform is perfect for him. And Cat Williams on the platform was perfect because he allowed him the space to say what he had to say and tell his story. I think that was what was most interesting to me is that outside of him coming out the gate firing,
Yeah, yeah.
there were moments where we learned a little bit about Cat Williams, learned a little
Mhm.
bit about his upbringing, his what seems to be complicated relationship with his father.
Yeah.
I did not know that he had adopted
Like
7 of his 9
yeah.
children.
Yeah.
There are
Or his
layers to
like
this man.
coming his the history coming up, living in Florida for
Yeah,
a time, moving
being
to the West Coast
homeless.
and
Yeah,
and notably one of the things I pulled from his story, sorry I know you were on something, but
go for it.
is his like I think respect of the craft of stand up, and that was apparent throughout the whole interview,
Yeah.
obviously. But his journey in stand up
Mhm.
of like not necessarily jumping straight into a huge market out
Yep.
the gate. He didn't jump straight into LA or New
Mhm.
York City right out the
Mhm.
gate to start his stand up career.
Yeah.
But he moved into Oakland. He moved, spent some time in, I forgot, some Midwest, not Midwestern, but I don't know if it was,
He's from where's he
not
from? Was he
Minnesota.
from Ohio?
He's from Ohio, but he
Yeah.
left when he was really young, moved to
13.
Florida,
Yeah.
South Florida, and then
By the way, an underage child in Florida by themselves sounds like a nightmare, so I have no idea how he's still alive. And I'm just going to say that.
it's on brand for South
Like,
Florida.
wow.
That's a wild west down
Yeah.
there.
Crazy.
But yeah, and then it's he wanted to cut his grow his talent, and
Mhm.
he worked with white audiences,
Mhm.
and he lived in he lived in and did stand up in a market that was predominantly white,
Yep.
and then moved to a predominantly black market.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. And sorry, oh, not a sneeze.
No, I'm good.
uh,
Go ahead.
you battling that cold.
I am.
And then he continued he built his craft with the black audience in Oakland,
Yep.
and then moved to like, and then started branching out into LA, doing tours and stuff like that.
That's correct.
Which LA is a fierce stand-up comedy market.
Mhm.
But that just shows like a respect, in my opinion, that I think a lot of people could appreciate taking the time to hone your skills, hone your craft, and so that you can, in this particular case, in this context, work any room and be successful
Mhm.
in the art of stand up,
Yeah.
in spite of, because I think a lot of time you see sometimes people are encouraged to just run straight at the goal, go straight to LA and tackle it.
Yeah.
And for example, like our careers, we didn't start off in New York City,
Yeah.
right? We started off in Florida
Yep.
and built our skill set and then transferred. Nothing saying that's wrong. It's something sometimes it works for certain people to
Yeah.
just hit the ground running, jump right in.
Mhm.
But that's interesting to see like a slower approach towards growing your skills and your talent
Yeah.
in an industry.
I agree. And I think, in entertainment industry, there's a number of ways that you can go, right? Stand up is a very specific skill set. It's a very specific craft. And it is a craft in that you have to work for it, right?
Hmm.
People can be naturally funny and not be good at stand up. Happens all the time. So I think that hearing how much he invested in developing and perfecting, it is perfected at this point,
Yeah.
but perfecting the craft of stand up is admirable. And I think when I look back on the energy that was in that interview, because I'm like, oh, he is just, just bullets left and right and left and right. I think it comes from a place of when he sees his peers, right?
Yeah.
what should be his equals and what are, comparatively his equals in terms of age and time in the industry and all that kind of stuff. He views them as individuals who have taken shortcuts to success.
Yeah.
And I think to him, someone who truly respects the craft of stand up,
Mm-hmm.
when he is compared to or put into the same arena when we're comparing talent to individuals who did not put in the time to perfect the craft that he has, he views that as disrespectful. And
Right.
I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. You can't compare a Katt Williams to Steve Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. You can't compare a Katt Williams to a Cedric the Entertainer when it comes to the art and craft of stand up.
Stand up. Yeah.
And that I understand.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those other individuals, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, have made big careers with hosting and television and just
Yeah.
being
And
general
movies. Yeah.
personalities. And that in and of itself is a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a different skill set. So I think each of those individuals deserves their flowers. They all do great
No doubt.
stuff.
Yeah.
But stand up is particularly grueling and it's different. And you have to give it to Katt that that is his thing. And he's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it shows. And he has when people are comparing him with regards to his outputs with
Mm-hmm.
whether it be stand up
Mm-hmm.
or acting,
Yeah.
which was another area that he really dove in on people's acting performances.
Ooh, he said, what did
And
he say? He said, Earthquake doesn't have a movie because Earthquake can't read.
he
Cat, why would you say that?
just leaned right in, and I was like, "Oh wow, we're going there, man." And it was
Wild.
just full of hilarious moments,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I was left in awe.
Yeah.
I think it took us double the time to get through it because we was pausing and laughing
Yeah, we
throughout
were
throughout a lot
literally
of it.
laughing and discussing the points that he had.
Hmm.
In my mind, I was mentally writing down all those one-liners. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
The man is just so funny. And it's interesting. I think the most viewed Shay Shay Club interview up until that time was Steve Harvey at like 8 million views.
Hmm.
Today, the Katt Williams interview that's only been live for 3 days has 26 million views.
Wow.
It literally took the internet by storm.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
within hours of its release, my entire Instagram feed was, "Have y'all seen Katt Williams? Have y'all seen Katt
Yeah.
Williams? What's going on with Katt Williams?" I'm like, "Well, what is going on with Katt Williams?"
That
Woo.
was and also it's like rewatchable because
It
there's
is
so many like
rewatchable.
gems in it, and
Yeah.
he's so hilarious. Like,
Such an interesting character, and I hope that by way of this, his visibility is just a little bit more. He gets his due.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I don't think we need to have Katt Williams take over the roles that Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart would do because he also made it very clear that he's not selling himself out. That's the other thing.
hmm
The assumption in a lot of the conversation with Shannon Sharpe is that his peers have sold out in some
hmm
way, which I can't say whether or not they have. They have different careers. But he's not going to sell out to be on somebody's movie set or to be on someone's television screen. So I don't anticipate him making those moves.
yeah,
But I want him to be sponsor or do some brand partnerships. I want to see him in more comedic roles. I want to see him the next time he's in the city, I'm going to go see him.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
stand up.
definitely,
Like I want him to get his just due.
yeah. And I definitely think that I would love to see him in more acting roles for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Because man, that Money Mike character from Friday
Classic.
After Next.
I think
I
it's
think.
Friday after next. I don't think it's next Friday.
Okay, Friday
Guys,
After
correct us
Next.
if we're wrong, but
Man, that role was clearly iconic because
yeah.
to this day, we still remember that performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also on that note, I think Shannon Sharpe needs to be elevated in a similar
I
regard
agree. I
for
agree.
being a great conversationalist.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
You
He
know?
opens the space up for people to share.
Yeah, and his reactions had me dying. He's that unk. He's the unk. That's the reason why he's called unk.
He
Is
is
because he
Unk.
is classic unk.
Yeah,
Oh
Southern Unk.
my god,
There's a
Southern.
specific
Yeah.
there's a specific uncle that Shannon Sharpe is.
Come on now, cat.
He's my uncle. Like Shannon Sharpe is my uncle. Like he be at the cookouts with my people. Like
Oh my
he's
god.
very much that, and I love that about
It
him.
was his reaction, him falling over, rolling over,
Oh my
and
god.
he drank almost that whole bottle
He was
of
stressed
cognac
with
because
a K.
oh my goodness, try to get through that conversation.
The man was going through it. I was like, he
Yeah,
ain't gonna make it. He's not
yeah.
gonna make. There was one point where I swear it was 15 minutes of Katt Williams interviewing himself.
Oh, at the gate,
He didn't say any. There was one. Shannon Sharpe couldn't say anything for a while.
he gave the intro, and then Katt Williams took off. Like,
So good.
yeah.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
What a media firestorm. But I think also there's a lot of life lessons that can be taken from that interview.
Oh, no doubt.
It's all fun and games, right? Like it's hilarious and there are one-liners and everyone has a good time. But I think there's so much to be taken from his story.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I respect his perfectionism, and one of the things that
Mm.
I pulled from this was the duality of the
Mm.
craft,
Mhm.
particularly with like Kevin Hart,
Mhm.
which I would say is like kind of an antithesis of
Hmm.
Cat Williams in the sense that Kevin Hart, he takes everything. He
He's about
works,
the dollar.
he shows up on time,
Yeah.
he wakes up at 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
goes to bed at midnight.
Yeah.
He is active and he is available. He is a partner for the industry.
Yeah.
He
Ooh,
will
that's a good way to describe
he
him.
will churn and burn content for
Yeah.
the industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then his stand up in my opinion is okay. I found his earlier work a bit funny,
Mhm.
funnier than what he's been currently doing lately in his
Mhm.
last few specials.
Mhm.
Um but one thing's for sure, he gonna be on a movie.
Yeah.
And he gonna be wilding out with The Rock, and he's gonna be strung up on something, getting
Yeah.
thrown around. And he's gonna be doing a crazy Kevin Hart
Endorsing
reaction.
endorsing credit cards and
Yeah,
sports drinks.
endorsing credit cards. He's gonna have a
He does
YouTube
everything.
show on here. He's gonna be on that. He's gonna be on a
Mhm.
T-shirt. He's gonna be
Mhm.
selling Fabletics. Like
Not
he's
Fabletics. Ah, Lord
he's
have mercy.
he will show up. He is Employee of the Year
Yeah.
10 years in a row, right?
Agreed.
Whereas Cat Williams is gonna be the one that's gonna, have critiques on
Mhm.
what you put on and what you put in front of him,
Yeah.
and he will spend time mostly crafting a stand-up routine. Like he
Yeah.
was really proud about
Yeah.
his 100
11
city tours and
y-
things like that.
yeah, and his comedy specials,
Yeah,
11 comedy specials.
11 comedy specials and like something a certain figure of 100 city tours. Like he
Yeah.
kept saying that because he is a stand up and
Yeah.
he has
He gives it.
honed that sword and he really focused in on that.
Yeah.
And when he talks about like perfectionism and even acting.
Mhm.
Um and I think, in a sense of like looking at things from a perfectionism side versus and get the output done
Yeah.
side of things,
Mhm.
you can see the difference.
Yeah.
How many films has Cat Williams been in
Mhm.
versus how many films has Kevin Hart? If you just look at
Sure.
it from that perspective,
Yeah, yeah.
and the amount of brand deals, right? And nothing is necessarily fully perfect.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that you would hear Kevin Hart really arguing that some of his outputs are perfection.
No.
I don't think he would argue
He should not.
that his role in Jumanji 4 is perfection.
Or that last
Yeah,
stand-up special
was
was
perfection.
perfection.
He's providing content, he's stirring the pot, he's
Mhm.
active. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I think it brings up an interesting perspective, especially us starting this new year, of the idea of chasing perfection versus just showing up and giving your all in
Yeah.
what it is,
Mhm.
and not necessarily holding yourself back because you're not at perfection yet.
Yeah.
And I think you can learn from both sides.
Mhm.
And most notably, with that pressure of perfection, it like it becomes hard to deal with over
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
where you might find yourself really not feeling satisfied in what you do,
Mhm.
not fulfilled. And I think the pursuit of perfection can in some ways uh make life a little bit more difficult in some ways. and
Mm.
and and I mean, from the conversation and from the proof, you can see the not necessarily as a bad thing, but the lack of like brand deals or the lack
Mhm.
of film count or the partnerships. Um, there someone could argue that that's an aspect of success is the how prolific you are, not prolific, but how productive you are,
Mhm.
not necessarily how perfect you are.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes just producing and getting it out the door is good enough.
Yeah.
And it really harkens to the idea. We were watching this video about Wabi Sabi, the Japanese the philosophy
Mhm.
of Wabi Sabi, which is the idea that nothing lasts,
Mhm.
nothing is finished,
Mhm.
and nothing is perfect.
Sure.
And it really brings this. this perspective home to me because I think sometimes I found myself getting caught up in like trying to produce the perfect outputs,
Mhm.
trying to. I remember when I used to edit photography, going in on certain
What a time.
pixel pixel correction,
Mhm.
pixels on a photo, like going diving deep into composition and getting caught in the minutia of perfection. And Wabi Sabi, was I think it was a timely thing for me to see,
Mhm.
at the timely thing for me to see, and I shared it with you.
Mhm.
The concept, and we watched a video about it. Is just celebrating imperfections
Mhm.
and living life simply.
Mhm.
You know, there's beauty in that. There's
Mhm.
beauty in just showing up and embracing the good and the bad parts of ourselves, as well as the asymmetry of life. And,
Mhm.
that's I think to Katt Williams' pursuit of perfection, we can also look at, like a Kevin Hart's
Mhm.
pursuit of production.
Mhm.
Get it out, connect with the people.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be perfect. There's something to showing up,
Mm.
and embracing our strengths. So embrace our strengths in that, so that we can just continue on and produce.
Mhm.
So it takes me to the thing I love,
Oh, okay.
which is wabi sabi themed items.
Mhm.
And I wanted to highlight a couple of forms of home decor that are inspired by wabi sabi, because
Okay.
wabi sabi as a concept, also lines up with home decor, art, any other creative outputs.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that wabi sabi really emphasizes is the process instead of the end result. One of the most interesting things to me in wabi sabi is the idea of raku pottery. It's this like hand shaped, imperfect pottery that is pretty porous, inconsistent, imperfect, and it ultimately results in uniquely shaped vessels.
Mhm.
And I wanted to point out a really cool raku company that I shared to you on Instagram one time.
Mhm.
It's this Malaysian pottery creative. I don't know what you call people that create pottery, but where he would like pull the pot out of the kiln and just like put it on like a stack of like crumpled up paper and cover it and quench it with water, and the effects of just chaotic paper and fire
Mhm.
and the oxidation of it created some like the most beautiful pottery and colorful works. Do
Mhm.
you remember that?
It
Do
was
you
really
remember those
pretty.
videos that I
Yeah.
sent you?
Mhm.
And I think the idea of that is pretty cool, and it's something that you can incorporate into your home.
I love that.
Um,
And we were trying to. I think
yeah,
it's something that it's still on our list of things to get.
yeah, because I know we've been talking about this. Like our home, we've
Mhm.
got the foundations of. I think you probably talk about this better than I could,
No,
but
it's
like
fine.
the foundation of, we have all these fixtures and furnitures and things that are like nice and new,
Mhm.
but everything is very geometric and clean and perfect in a sense of like, there's no like charm or character to it.
Yeah, I like to describe it as like we have an angular foundation to our home, right? Like we have the grounding pieces that are usually more square, rectangular, because that's what grounding pieces I think are supposed to be in the home. But what our home is missing are those moments of fluid personality, if you
Yeah.
will. And Wabi Sabi and the piece that you're describing is like one of the perfect additions that would sort of balance out the space to make it feel a little less sterile. So I think that's kind of what you're kind of speaking to.
Yeah, and I think we've leaned into this mid-century modern aesthetic for the foundational pieces,
Mhm. That is true.
but I think it's time to incorporate. I think we both have come to a point where we want to incorporate more color, more imperfections, more
Yes.
more things that make you just like stop and look at it a little bit
Mhm.
because of the
Mhm.
details.
Yeah.
But the company, and they're called RAAQUU as well, but
Mhm.
it's spelled RAAQUU.
Mhm.
They're on Instagram. You should check them out. RAAQUU Ceramics.
Love that.
But they have this amazing art series
Mhm.
of vessels that vases and vessels that they've created using various techniques
Mhm.
that you guys should check out. But for the thing I love is they actually have an Amazon store.
Oh,
So
nice.
their creations, straight from Malaysia, is available on Amazon
Amazon
for
sells a little bit of everything from everywhere, don't they?
apparently because you could get this like handcrafted raku based
Yeah.
pottery prime delivered to
I
your
love
to your door.
that. Amen.
So check them out. We're gonna put a link.
Yeah, for sure.
But one of the link that I'm gonna put is for what I found to be one of my favorite.
Mhm.
It's called their Koban
Yeah.
vase
Mhm.
or vase.
Mhm.
It's the half copper matte, where it's this
Mhm.
transition from like the reflective, I guess translucent ceramic
Hmm.
to like a rough border of like really rough oxidation
Sure.
and colorful effects on the side of it. So it's this
Mhm.
cool like split of materials. So that's one of the things that I would recommend to check out.
Very
And I'll put a link
nice.
in the description.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Do you have any things that you've seen that were from
Um
a wabi sabi perspective?
so the Wabi Sabi perspective to me, and I kind of have to bring it back to the Katt Williams interview as well, because what I took from it, I think your point of like the idea of imperfection being an okay thing, production versus perfection is a really good point. What I took from the interview was more so this idea of being okay with your success being your type of success,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
There was an air of competitiveness there in the interview, when we're comparing the careers of a Steve Harvey, a Cedric the Entertainer, a Ricky Smiley,
Hmm.
a Faison Love, and then
Face.
also
That
how he
one's
got in the mix, I don't know,
catching strays.
a Kitchen Strays, and then a Cat Williams, right? Each of them you would argue is successful,
Yeah.
right? Some of those individuals, though, are just more visible than others.
Hmm.
And I think oftentimes we tie success to the things that are most visible in society, right?
Mm.
The person who has the new, Mercedes AMG, successful. The
Mm.
person with the new multi-million dollar house in upstate New York, successful. The people who are sending their kids to the best private school in the neighborhood, successful.
Mm.
Those are all visual things of what success looks like, and they can be indicators of what success looks like.
Yeah.
But I think success is also peace.
Oh.
Success is also comfort. Success is love. And I think when you listen to the through line of a lot of what Cat Williams was saying, he was saying just that. That while his career, he didn't take any quote unquote shortcuts to have the visibility, he is at peace with who he is and what he provides and
The lane he's in.
the lane that he is in, and he's the best at it. He's the best at what he does.
Hmm.
And I think that is something that we could all take away from that, right? Like my life is not going to look like anyone else's life and vice versa. And what I deem to be successful can be different than what someone else does. That doesn't make
Mm.
anyone any better than the other, doesn't make anyone else's career or lives any better or more valuable. We
Hmm.
all have our own sort of swim lanes. And I think one of my favorite quotes is comparison is the thief of joy. You get to comparing yourself to other people like that, and eventually you start to think your blessings aren't good.
Yeah.
That what you got going on ain't all that. But what you got going on is absolutely everything that you were supposed to have, right?
Right.
And so you don't appreciate your success in your lane and what you've got going on. And so I think that's what I took away from it. It's like Cat Williams is perfectly happy with what he got going on.
Hmm.
And he is confident in the fact that he is the best at it. And no, he is not, hosting Family Feud or, on the at the box
Fast and
office
Furious
every week.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, like Kevin Hart. But what he's got going on is special. And that interview proved it.
Yeah.
That interview proved that Cat Williams is special.
Hmm.
And I think we all should feel that way about ourselves, no matter
Yeah.
what our lives look like. You're all special. We're all special. And our success is our success.
Yeah. And that's literally the principles of Wabi Sabi is
Literally the
like
principles.
embracing the imperfection,
Yes.
embracing because nothing is ever done,
Yeah.
and embracing that
Mm-hmm.
the longest distance is the distance between good and perfect. It's
Yeah.
infinite.
You're never gonna, yeah, there's no
There is
perfect.
no way to get to that point. And
Yeah.
so embracing all those aspects of time and
Mm-hmm.
what time does to us, like
Exactly.
embracing that
Mm-hmm.
and appreciating, time has an effect on us,
Mm-hmm.
and that just the idea of not being complete on certain things is good
Yeah.
enough too. Like,
It's good enough. Sometimes good enough is just good enough. The way a C plus is passing is exactly that.
yeah,
You could get a C plus or you get an A. Both of them things is passing,
yeah,
right? So it's like
exactly.
you kind of got to think of it that way. And so to tie it back to Wabi Sabi, I think it's that same idea. When I was researching this and really delving into it, there's so many different pieces and ways that you can incorporate Wabi Sabi into your home.
Hmm.
And I think, you can get two vases that are Wabi Sabi style and they both look totally different,
Yeah,
but they're both equally as beautiful. And that's sort of the energy. So in that regard, ways that we can incorporate Wabi Sabi into your home, you know me, I like things to be functional, easily accessible. So I'm also going to give an Amazon shout out because we do this in our home as well, unknowingly.
yeah.
We're a huge fan of linen duvets.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Linen is a timeless texture.
yeah. Hmm.
The finish ages really well, right? You can buy a brand new duvet that is crisp and clean, but then, like in a couple of months, it's not as great. The beauty of linen is that it builds character over time, and that is also part of the wabi sabi theory.
Hmm.
And so, one of the things that I love is this particular linen duvet set. We have one in the home. With us, and it is the Mumi washed cotton linen duvet. It's highly rated on Amazon.
Yeah.
Wonderful quality. And it comes in an array of colors, and you can choose which one fits your home. But I encourage you all, if you haven't played around with linen, particularly in your bedroom, to do that. It's soft, it's cozy, it's approachable.
Yeah, the texture on it helps
Yeah,
with embracing aging over
exactly.
time.
It's great, and it gets better with every wash. That's the thing about linen. I
Mhm.
think that's what Greg is talking about. It's like you wash it a couple times, and it's even prettier somehow,
Yeah.
right? So that's one of the things that I love. I love that theory, and then I love being able to apply it to the things that are in our home.
Hmm.
And I will say this: we in our society have a really hard time not throwing old stuff away. That
Not
includes n-
throwing old
old
stuff
stuff
away.
away. When
Okay.
something gets old, you want to throw it away,
Okay, so
right?
we
Hard time.
always
Yeah,
throw stuff away
when it gets
when it gets
old.
old. Okay.
We have a hard time not throwing what we have
We
a
have a
hard time throwing old stuff away.
we
You know what
always
I'm trying
throw
to
old
say.
stuff
You
away.
always
Yeah.
throw the old stuff away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like when something clothes get old, you
You just
throw it
immediately chuck
away.
it. One thing, one
Yeah,
imperfection, you
it's a
chuck it.
we'll
Yeah.
buy something else. And we also do that with people though. I
Ooh, oh
think
my goodness.
yeah, I think as people start to age and become more mature, we start to be less interested in their lives. We
Mm,
value them less. We consider their contributions to society not as important.
wow.
When your grandmother is knitting at the senior center and she brings you back a blanket, do you value that as much as the linen duvet that you bought from so and
Yeah,
so?
yeah, yeah.
Like old persons, and their outputs in our society aren't seen as valuable.
Mm,
And I think that in the nature of the wabi sabi theory could change, right? That there is a beauty in aging, there's a beauty in the wisdom and courage that it takes to age gracefully.
mm,
And I don't know, I guess it's just a revelation that I came to because I'm maturing myself, and I'd like to think that I am increasingly beautiful and wise and
yeah,
kind and all those wonderful things. So I think our society likes to throw old things away, and I think we should fix that. And I think the
yeah,
theory of wabi sabi embraces maturity,
yeah,
in a graceful way.
for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
You got any other things you love Wabi Sabi
Oh
too?
yeah. Another thing that I love. Okay, so
Adjust
if
your mic a little
you,
bit, babe.
oh,
Sorry, bring it down a little bit.
what happened?
It's you a little low.
I'm a little low.
Yeah, there you
Am I
go.
low now?
You're not low now. You're
All
good.
right, cool, 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 cool. So you guys know that I love a little piece of dramatic lighting, honey. Like I think bringing lighting into
Is that
the
right?
home is cute. Yes, honey.
Okay.
In the dining room, we have a cute little chandelier situation. In our living room, we've got some sort of like side lamps. In the
Yeah, yeah.
bedroom, we've got this cool little. There's a lot of like
Right,
lighting
right.
going on because
We have this cool new one that's
yes,
like it's texture. It's rough
yeah,
textured,
it's
and it's
clay.
like a oh, clay. Is that what
It's
that is?
clay.
Some weird shapes. You know, I love an
Mm-hmm.
abstract shape because we need it so bad in this house.
So bad. Like we said, we have
Yeah.
angularity to the max. But this particular studio, it's called Studio Sunneva,
Hmm.
Sunneva. They are dedicated to creating Wabi Sabi-inspired lighting for your home. In fact, the tagline for this particular place is the beauty of imperfection.
Okay.
And so I think that is so nice. And so
Yeah.
a lot of the pieces that they have are absolutely stunning and gorgeous. They're a little pricey. We're thinking anywhere between $200 to $400 for these pieces. But they're curated and
Yeah.
gorgeous
And it's a light
and
fixture that'll,
worth it.
yeah, and that'll last a long time in your home.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to recommend them as the thing that I love, and I am actually looking to purchase for them for my office at the moment.
Oh, that's what we're gonna do?
That's what we're doing. I've decided.
Okay.
Doing a
We'll
little
check that
Wabi
one out.
Sabi in Alexis's office.
I love it.
Do you have
Um,
another thing you love? Because you only have one.
I
Okay.
do, because an aspect of Wabi Sabi is
Mhm.
that you embrace the chaos that
Mhm.
comes with life and the
Yeah.
world, and you find the beauty in it.
Mhm.
So, if in particular, if a bowl breaks,
Mhm.
that's not the end of that bowl's
Yeah.
journey.
Mhm.
You can give that bowl life again
Yeah.
and continue on. And there's a practice called Kintsugi, which is a
Kintsugi.
style of repairing broken pottery
Yeah.
with gold and silver or platinum, essentially highlighting the fact that it's broken,
Mhm.
which is an interesting concept. This Kintsugi concept is
Mhm.
like the fact that something is broken is what makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think we can see that within ourselves too. Like
Mhm.
our our scars, our battle scars, are a testament to our resilience, and it's a
Ooh.
testament to our journey.
Mhm.
It's paying respect to both sides of the world,
Mhm.
the good and the bad,
Yeah.
and honoring both aspects of, because you can't have good without the bad,
Uh-huh.
and that's how you really embrace and enjoy something. But
Mhm.
with the bad, and when bad things happen, the practice of kintsugi gives it new life and makes it more
Oh, I love
beautiful.
that. That's nice.
So there's this really cool kintsugi repair kit
Oh, that you
that
can do at home?
you can do at home,
That's
and
nice.
it comes with gold powder,
Mhm.
and glue and epoxy putty, and it even comes with like practice bowls and
Yeah.
cups so you can break them
Sure.
and then piece them back together,
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
apply the gold fill
Mhm.
to bring it back to life, and it actually gives it much more character, and you can
Mm.
have a beautiful piece in your home.
Very nice.
And obviously, no two things are alike.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I wanted to share, to allow us to celebrate these imperfections, and as we move into the new year, like move into it knowing that the good, there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, but at the end of the day, to have breath and to continue on is
Mhm.
the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
So it's perspective is an important thing of that.
Ooh, I
So
love
yeah,
that.
so that Kintsugi repair kit, we're gonna put that link down there, and it's and the other thing I love is a collection of porcelain tableware
Mm.
that's made with Kintsugi.
Okay.
It's
That's
from
nice.
this Japanese knife company
Mhm.
called Oisha,
Mm.
and they have these really dope chef's knives.
Yeah.
Pricey, but dope.
Worth
And
it.
I might have to look into
Worth
that for
it.
the future. But they have a line of tableware
Yeah.
with kintsugi. It's a kintsugi collection,
Yeah.
and basically they have hand applied 24 karat gold, and it's made in collaboration with this porcelain manufacturer that's been in business since like the 1800s.
Mhm.
And it's these beautiful pieces of tableware that's all kintsugi, so you can buy a beautifully crafted piece.
That's so nice.
Um, but the amazing thing about kintsugi, wabi sabi, is essentially like the reminder of the fragility of life.
Mm.
In the sense that things can break.
Mhm.
But it's also showing the power of resilience,
Mhm.
that putting the pieces together,
Mhm.
and the beauty of imperfection. So
Mm.
I think as we move into 2024,
Mhm.
and Katt Williams touched on this, is the idea of truth. This is the year of the truth,
Yeah, he
and
set the tone.
yeah, he set the tone, and truth is can be ugly, but
Mhm.
living in truth will set you free in some way, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Be not, and that's the whole idea behind integrity.
Mhm.
It's like doing what you do in the darkness
Yeah.
and doing it in the light.
Mhm.
So in this 2024 of truth and
Mhm.
2024 of wabi sabi,
Yeah.
um, let's just embrace the honest aspects of life. You
Yeah.
know?
I love that idea, and you know, I think I'm taking a little bit of a left.
Sure, yeah. I'm with you.
The same way I think, Imperfection is a beautiful thing, and this is a year of truth. I think it's because we have gone through a good decade or so of almost forced perfection, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Especially in terms of like, the surge of social media and what we're putting on for each other.
Mm.
How we connect with each other is through social media. A lot of the times social media is your highlight reel, right? So we're communicating with each other not in honesty, not in truth, but in highly edited versions of ourselves. And there's a loss of humanity in that, I think, a little bit, when all you see of someone that you think you know is their best moments, right? That's
Mm.
only a small fraction of who they are.
Yeah.
And so in living in more truth in 2024, my hope is that it brings a lot of us, closer together and brings back the humanity and the honesty and the truth and really the beauty of authentic relationships as well.
Oh, okay.
Because it's important to have. That's part of growth. And so I'm hoping that's a thing, and I'm,
Mm.
I'm speaking for myself. I think even when I see some like my friends and stuff, I see them mostly on social media because I don't see them
Yeah.
every day. But, getting to reconnect with them in this current season of their life, in their truth as it is today, is important.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's part of it too, living in your truth and then also connecting authentically with the people that you love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than Instagram.
More than
Yeah.
Instagram,
That's
Yeah.
dope. I love that.
Yeah. Real life
Yeah.
peeps.
Well, we dropped some gems for y'all.
That's a lot
I
today.
think this is a good tempo set
Yeah.
for 2024.
Wow. 2024 sounds crazy though.
It's
Doesn't
yeah.
it sound
It
kind of
sounds
wild?
crazy.
I think 2024 sounds
It's
crazy.
all a blur to me. I don't know what's going on.
First episode of the year, babe. Woo!
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah. So yeah, you got anything else for the people?
No. I'm just wishing you all a happy, healthy, truthful new year, and I hope that you'll continue to rock with us because we'll be here every week. Y'all know where to find us.
Yeah. Yes. And on that note, this was yet another episode of the Lovers and Things podcast.
Yes.
Keep loving your people.
And
Keep loving the things.
oh, so in the new year, you don't know your lines no more, my guy?
It's been a while. We took a long break. I forgot. Keep loving the things.
And loving your people. It's so, so important.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.